bit late to this, huh? Hey, I'm Tox, and this is a very different format from my usual videos. Very aware of that, but I just want to talk about the development process of my Henry Stickmin fan game, Fleeing the Forest, and the ideas I have behind it, what I scrapped and or changed, and just anything else I feel like rambling about. Also, sorry if the mic quality isn't the best. I don't really have a good mic since this isn't the sort of stuff I usually make. Anyway, time to ramble. Fleeing the Forest, which I'll be referring to as FTF, came into existence after I initially put a pause on developing another Henry fan game idea I had in mind, Acquiring the Sapphire, back in 2023. I won't go into too much detail about this project since it's cancelled now, but to put into simple words, I made Acquiring the Sapphire too big of a project for a first time solo developer, and had too high expectations for myself and decided to scale down the project into another one, which became FTF. Despite being such a short fan game, FTF did have something scrapped from it, and I'll go over the options first. I scrapped two options from FTF, Kick and Crowbar, which would have been in option set 1. These are both scrapped for the same reason, which was I decided the box Henry interacts with would have already been opened, rather than him trying to open it himself. I don't think I had either of these options storyboarded, so I'll explain what would have happened in each option. Kick, as you could probably guess already, would have shown Henry trying to kick open the box, but instead he hurts his foot and it results in a fail. For Crowbar, I had the idea to have the head crabs from Half-Life, I think, fall onto Henry after failing to open the box normally. But the thing is, this was already done in Stealing the Diamond, so it's already kind of unoriginal in the first place, and it would have been scrapped for that reason, I think. I also scrapped the small cutscene in the Virus Spider option, which would have just made the transition between the two option sets a lot more clean. The plant that traps Henry in the storyboard would have transported him to the next scene where he's walking through the bushes in the forest. This would have referenced the fungal map events in Among Us, but looking back, these are designed to look more like the Flow Leaders from Hollow Knight. Another thing scrapped from FTF was actually the entire ending. Yeah, FTF was supposed to have 2 endings. So why did I scrap the other? I just didn't have any ideas for another ending. So I kind of just stuck with just having one. The non-existent second ending option was then replaced with the Vanish option, which I'll go over in a little bit more detail in a moment. Oh, and there's scrap designs at the field screen, but I don't really have too much to say on those, so I'll just show them instead like I have with everything else so far. There's a handful of references included in the small fan game, so I'll just go over the options first. The teleporter references a very old comic I made back in, 2021, 22. I can't exactly remember anymore, but I thought it'd be a nice throwback to my old ideas back when I first got into the fandom. The phone is a reference to Bioplant's old Henry fan game, Surviving the Snowstorm, where Henry tries to call it either the government or the Top Hats. But obviously in FTF, Henry wouldn't call it either, and tries to contact anyone else to help him, but is unsuccessful since, well, he's in the middle of a forest. Pokeball is just a simple Pokemon reference. There's nothing really to go over for this option. Rocket is a throwback to the Rocket option in the Joban Path, which was a throwback to Crossing the Pit, as most of you probably already know. Virus Spider is a reference to the Virobots featured in Alan Becker's Anime vs. Animation series. This definitely wasn't included because I really like the Dark Lord in the series. No, totally not. Nuh-uh. Nope. Anyway, berries is a Minecraft reference, and I realize this is inaccurate to actual Minecraft berries. They look like glow berries rather than the red berries the option was referencing, and neither said berries actually poison you, but who cares? Red Rifter 3000 is just a simple gadget game device. Again, there's nothing really to go over for this. Vanish is based on that one meme of the guy just vanishing after doing a peace sign, and it was just a quick thing to take the place of where the second ending would have been, like I mentioned before. And finally, Creature is referencing the puzzles from Club Penguin, which is actually a recycled feel from the previous project I brought up, Climb the Sapphire. I will even show the animation I made for the fan game before I cancelled it. And that's not it for references. Yeah, there's more. The ending cutscene has some references sprinkled in where the credits are shown. Mostly in order from left to right, top to bottom, is a trigonometry triangle that someone wanted me to include for some reason. DM was here, graffiti note that DM, Dark Mage, wanted me to include. Cracked Safe for another unfortunately cancelled fan game called Cracking the Safe. A teleporter drawing, the RNG manipulator, which was shown in the trailer for Return to the Complex. A doodle of neon beans, an Among Us, Sadman from Sad Midnight, an Enna reference, Angry Face from Newgrounds, and a small jab to myself with a note saying ATS when, with a drawing of the sapphire. I had quite a few problems come up when I was developing FTF, and I'll go over some of them as briefly as I can so this video doesn't become stupidly long by accident. But knowing me, I'm gonna ramble too much, so whoopsies in advance. My first problem was actually how I was gonna make this fan game in the first place. When I was still developing Acquiring the Sapphire, I tried to use Scratch, and immediately didn't like how the drawing interface thing worked. Not entirely sure what to call it, but it was awful for me. So I decided I'd instead use Turbo Warp since I was told by other fan game devs that it was just better to use overall. But rather than animating in Turbo Warp itself, I decided I'd animate in Flip-A-Clip like I always did, and just import it into Turbo Warp. Little did I know is that, that's not how it worked. There was also just this hurdle of not knowing how to code at all, and thankfully Gasgrass convinced me that I could use the YouTube end cards as interactable choices after I brought it up in the Strobe server when I officially started development on the game, which is what I went with. Another problem I had was that I realized around halfway through animating FTF is that Flip-A-Clip kinda decides it wants to be a little bit silly with showing what FPS or project is shown as when previewing it. This sounds confusing a bit, but I'll explain why what I mean. I initially animated the FTF clips with no audio imported, thinking it'd be just fine, you know. But without audio, Flip-A-Clip does this thing where it actually plays your animations at a slower FPS if no audio files are present. This caused a few problems with some clips I made where the movement that I thought was very nicely paced and smooth were actually fast and choppy. This was thankfully a quick fix of just animating in twos, and it wasn't detrimental to FTF's development like how this next issue wasn't a big problem either. This other issue I had was kind of my own fault and just me being stupid with Flip-A-Clip. I didn't realize there were two versions of the YouTube format canvas in the program, one with 720p quality and the other 1080p quality. By the time I realized this, I animated about half of the shots of 720p quality, and then I tried to export them in 1080p after realizing this. I don't think it's that noticeable. If it is, then I'm just not gonna worry about it, that's all. Another problem I had was actually regarding the end cards when putting all the clips together. And the issue was I didn't know videos had to be at least 20 seconds long before you could add an end card to them. And most of my animations were around 10 to 15 seconds long. That's why a lot of the fill screens last so long with some of the options. Another thing relating to the end cards is that I didn't know only 4 end cards were allowed at the end of one video, which is why the first set of options is like split into 2 halves. These are just both from a lack of research before committing to this project, and if I ever make another fan game, I'd know to improve on this next time. Would I ever make another Henry fan game, or just develop another game in general? No, probably not. This isn't exactly something I want to pursue for my future. But it was good practice for working on a long-term project, since FTF took about 9 months to complete. And it was actually a pretty fun side project to work on while I focused on school. And that's it for the developer commentary, I suppose. I don't have anything else to say other than thanks for watching this video and sticking to the end if you made it this far. So, see ya!